The Eight Limbs of Patanjali. Yoga is a philosophy and practice that emerged from streams and schools over centuries. The theoretical basic ideas and connections of this philosophy, which are mainly transmitted in the form of texts in Sanskrit, are correspondingly diverse. One of the most famous suggestions for the path of a yogi, to which most of today's yoga methods are based, is the eightfold path according to Patanjali. The author named Patanjali describes these 8 stages in about AD 200 in the Yoga Sutra. In order to embark on the path to enlightenment, one should practice all of these 8 stages. 5 Yamas are the first discipline in including rules about how to behave towards others. Nobody lives alone in this world, therefore everyone must learn to deal properly with the other beings. Those who control themselves are able to give life the right direction. Sounds very easy, but this requires discipline on a daily basis. The 5 Yamas are Ahimsa, which is non-violence, Satya, truthfulness, Asteya, to not steal, Brahmacharya, moderation, and Aparigraha, non-attachment. Ahimsa is the absence of injustice, cruelty, and non-violence. It's well considered dealing with all living beings practicing in thought, word, and deed. It is about a non-violent nutrition and clothing and a non-violent and understanding communication. If you harm your environment, you will inevitably harm yourself as well. Ahimsa releases tremendous energy within you as it aligns you with the creative potential of the entire universe. Kindness is the power that overcomes all obstacles. Ahimsa prepares your mind for the realization of the Supreme. The second principle of the Yamas is Satya, which is truthfulness. Satya deals with the issues of honesty, sincerity, faithfulness, and loyalty towards oneself and others. It's about being truthful and to always speak the truth. Honesty also means not lying to yourself and admitting your own mistakes. Satya also means the ability to say no, and not out of politeness or weakness to say yes to something you neither want nor feel right. The third Yama is Asteya, which means do not steal. It's about not taking or stealing that does not belong really to you. Even envy of someone else's riches is already considered in yogic philosophy to be a form of spiritual stealing that leads us to desire what is not ours. The Yama Asteya also calls for inner contentment and modesty, so that true wealth can be discovered only within. Brahmacharya is moderation. It is also interpreted as abstinence, for example, from addictive substances or sex. Honesty also means to not lie to yourself and admitting your mistakes. A clean lifestyle is advised here, and the mind is to be protected from things that bring you confusion. Moderation in everything one does is probably the real meaning of Brahmacharya and serves mental, spiritual, and physical health. The last Yama is Aparigraha, which is the non-attachment. The Yama Aparigraha recommends not accumulating large possessions and being content with bare necessities. Unnecessary possessions arouse envy and cost valuable lifetime and energy, but is also a call to release attachment to certain feelings and situations. Because it's not always just material things that we desire, but also sensual experience that can quickly degenerate into passions. The 5 Yamas all interact with each other and none exist independently of the other 4 Yamas. They are always intertwined and belong together. You probably know one of the most popular yoga symbols, the lotus flower. It is often depicted with 8 leaves, as these symbolize the 8 aspects of the eightfold path of yoga. All of this shows that asanas are only a smart part of the larger concept of yoga. Yoga is not just a practice on the mat. Yoginis should always practice yoga in everyday life away from the yoga mat. For example, you can ensure that not only your own inner life is at peace, but also the ones around you, and also stand up for others. This principle can also be applied to environmental protection by asking yourself before you buy something certain if you really need it. While the Yamas are recommendations for behavior in the outside world, for example social interaction, the 5 Niyamas are more self-related and are aimed at the thoughts and feelings of the practitioner. It consists of the Saucha, cleanliness, the Santosha, contentment, the Tapas, discipline, Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to the divine and the higher power, and Svadhyaya, the self-study. Saucha is the physical, mental, and spiritual purity and cleanliness. The body must be protected, kept clean, and cared for in order that it may remain healthy and serve its primary purpose. If you give the body external hygiene, the right food, good water, and the necessary exercise, it remains elastic and young. The mind should also always be kept pure. Satya can be achieved with fasting, proper nutrition, breathing exercises, meditation, and yoga. Santosha is frugality, modesty, contentment with what we have. Santosha means saying yes to the world, to recognize existence in its splendor and uniqueness. Contentment is here a positive state of mind. It is a way of looking at life through seeing what it is and seeing possibilities. This satisfaction arises from focusing on what is not. In Santosha, concentrating on what is most necessary and important is trained, and thus leads to inner satisfaction and gratitude. Tapas literally means to heat. Body, mind, and soul are purified, cleansed, and detoxified through practice of asanas and pranayama. This allows the body to cleanse itself of waste products and gain mental clarity. Unnecessary ballast is literally burned off, and the senses are sharpened as a result. Svadhyaya is about self-reflection. It's about the reflection of the own ego, recognizing own self, and also being able to criticize oneself. With Svadhyaya, you are both lecturer and student in one role. In other words, you are your own greatest teacher. Questioning one's own views, beliefs, and actions help to unmask and resolve inner entanglements. In this way, the yogini approaches his own center and self. Ishvara Pranidhana is devotion. It is the devotion to God or creation. It doesn't matter how God or the highest is defined, be it a personal deity or a universal principle. It's about surrendering to one thing with all your heart, letting go of all other things and happenings. It is possible to focus only on the present moment, to surrender to it. Ultimately, this leads to more concentration for tasks and duties that we have to or want to do every day. This is about letting go of fears and trusting in the guidance of divine power. The third limb in the 8 limbs in Patanjali's is Asana. And the term Asana describes the sitting position when meditating. But meanwhile, it means all physical yoga postures. There are over 800 yoga postures, as all areas of the body should be trained. The asanas strengthen the body, They give it more vitality and increasing life energy. In addition, they also have a relaxing effect and promote personal development. The fourth limb is Pranayama. Pranayama is made up of the two words prana, which means life energy, and yama, which is expansion and control. And it includes the various breathing exercises of yoga. With the help of the breathing exercises, we can learn to consciously perceive and control our breath again, and thus activate our life energy and get it flowing. When we calm our breath, we also calm our mind. Pranayama is the conscious connection of breath and mind. Pratyahara means to turn the senses inward. In Pratyahara, the connection of the mind and the senses is severed. They no longer react to external stimuli. The spirit is no longer nourished from the outside. The senses rest and they focus on the inside. It is turning the attention inwards. Today's people are so externally oriented that an inner view seems almost impossible, but can certainly be worked out in a disciplined manner. Dharana means concentration, focusing the mind on a single point. During Dharana, the mind becomes calm, balanced, and steady. It's the connection with yourself, creating stillness in your mind and bringing your inner peace. In Dharana, you willingly focus your attention on one object, perceiving only that and trying to block out everything else. In Dharana, you make an effort to keep the object of concentration in your mind and observe everything closely. Dharana is meant to prepare you for meditation. Dhyana is the accomplished state of meditation. Patanjali comments on this in his Yoga Sutra with, fixing the mind in one place is concentration, Dharana. The constant flow of a single idea there is meditation, Dhyana. So Dhyana is the discipline of true meditation. In this state, higher dimensions are revealed and the yogi gains glimpses of the Absolute. The experience cannot be described in words. In the conscious state of meditation, concentration is no longer required and only clarity remains. The mind has come to rest and no longer produces thoughts. Samadhi is the state of absolute bliss, the supreme goal of a life of a yogi. It is pure consciousness, the experience of unity, and the knowledge of omniscience. In Samadhi, the mind merges completely with the object of meditation. All attributes that make up an individual personality disappears. Nothing stands between the object and the spirit. It is the immersion in which there is no longer any individual identity. A feeling of oneness with everything arises.